Good morning, sixth grade, 39 lesson. You were cranking our equations. Hopefully, you got the good old quiz on the backside done. Uh, if yours printed anything like mine, you had 12 across the top here and 11 going vertical. So you need that 11 to do number 16 on that quiz to figure out the area. Remember, it's a triangle. You might want to cut it in half after you multiply. Front side reads like this. 1 foot is 12 inches, 1 yard, 36 inches, 1 yard, 3 feet, 1 mile, 5,280 feet, 1 centimeter, 10 millimeters, 1 meter, 1,000 millimeters, 1 meter, 100 centimeters, 1 kilometer, 1,000 meters, 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, 1 pound is 16 ounces, 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, a gram is 1,000 milligrams, a kilogram is 1,000 grams, and a ton is 1,000 kilograms. 1 kilogram equals 2.2 pounds. A pint is 16 ounces. A pint is 2 cups. A quart is 2 pints. A gallon is 4 quarts. A liter is 1,000 milliliters. 1 milliliter has a volume of 1 cubic centimeter and a mass of 1 gram. 1 liter has a volume of 1,000 cubic centimeters and the mass of 1 kilogram. Water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. It boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius. Your normal body temperature is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit for the average human being, although they're talking that they might change that a little bit. And 37 degrees Celsius. The mental math section would have read something like this. I divided by 10, slides my decimal left once, gives me $2.45. B, straight multiplication, $7.20. C, multiplied by 5 to get to 60, so 7 times 5 is 35. D, divide both by 8 gives me 3/4. E, 25 minus 9 is 16. F, divide by 5 is 8 times 4 is 32. G, explain how you find the range. You subtract biggest number minus smallest number. Start with the number of degrees in a straight angle, 180. Subtract the number of years in a century, minus 100 is 80. Add the number of years in a decade, plus 10 is 90. Subtract the number of degrees in a right angle, 90. 90 minus 90 is 0. Last is your problem solving. Jamal glued 27 small blocks together to make the cube you see there. Then he painted the 6 faces of the cube. Later the cube broke apart into the 27 blocks. How many of the small blocks had 3 painted faces, 2 painted faces, 1 painted faces, and no painted faces? Great problem. It's trying your visualization skills. So I have my beautiful cube here. Okay, how many have 3 painted faces? Well, guys, that's the corner. That's paint, paint, paint. So there's 1 corner, 2 corner, 3 corner, 4 corner, 5 corner, 6 corner, 7 corner, and that back corner down there is 8. So that would have been 8 paint faces that were painted with 3. How many have 2 painted? Those would have been the sides here. 1 there, 2 there, 3 there, 4 there, going this way, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then going the other way, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so we had 12 with 2 painted faces. Then how many had 1 painted faces? That's the dead center. Dead center. A cube has 6 sides, and there's the dead center in each one. So how many has 1 is 6. I add that together, guys. 8 plus 12 is 20, plus 6 is 26. So how many had 0? 1. The one in the middle of that thing would not have got painted at all. Everything else would have been painted once, twice, or 3 times, depending on its location. So it's just a matter of trying to find a pattern on how it works and then counting it. Maybe you want to start with 1 first and say there's only one, and I take those things out, but that's how they got there, okay? All right, 6, we're moving on with proportions today. We are going to use proportions a ton the rest of the year. Proportions and ratios go hand in hand. We use them all the time to solve different equality problems, word problems. We'll see how today we're going to build the foundation and we're going to move on crazy from there. Hopefully you have your yellow folder along to fill in some blanks. I didn't mention that last week in a couple of your videos because I didn't have my yellow folder in my basement, and now I do. Cruising along, we got a proportion is a statement that 2 ratios are equal. So fill in your yellow notebook, equal. And they give you an example. 16/20 equals 4/5. One way to test whether 2 ratios are equal is to compare their cross products. If we multiply the upper term of one ratio by the lower term of the other ratio, we form a cross product. the cross products of equal ratios are equal. We illustrate by finding cross products in this one. So I took a numerator times the one fraction times the denominator times the other. So 5 times 16 was 80. Denominator of the one to the numerator of the other, 20 times 4 is 80. We find that both cross products equal 80. Whenever the cross products are equal, the ratios are equal as well. We can use cross products to help us find missing terms in a proportion. We will follow the 2 steps. Number 1, find the cross products. And then number 2, divide the known product by the known factor. So we'll do example 1 so you can see how this works. So example 1 says, Mia can read 12 pages in 20 minutes. At that rate, how many pages can she read in 30 minutes? We can find the answer by solving the proportion, and they give us the proportion. Okay, guys, so they gave me, if I can do 12 pages in 30 minutes, I want to know how many pages can I do in 30 minutes. Sorry, I wrote down 30 here. That should have been in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes. So guys, the key to setting this up is it's always the same pattern. They gave me pages per minute, pages per minute. The numerator's on the top is pages. The numerator on top has to be pages. Now I cross multiply, so I head at that angle. Now, 6, you can do a lot of things to make this easier for you. I can do 12 times 30 and get an answer of 360, divide 360 by 20. Or I can also do canceling tricks. Chop the 0 off on both sides. Okay, now it's just 3 times 12 is 18, divide by 2 is 9. Okay, so, I'm sorry, I said 3 times 12 is 36, divided by 2 is 18. I got ahead of myself giving you the answer instead of the thing. Okay, so if you want, you can cross things out, guys, but you got to be crossing the same thing out in the ratio. So I divided the 10 by both sides. You get the same answer. B gets rid of the word, example 2 gets rid of the word problem and just moves to what they'll give you a lot. They'll just give you the equation. They'll say solve this. I have 15 over x equals 20 over 32. Now another way to solve proportions, guys, is to reduce fractions. Like, I can always ask myself, how did I get from 20 to 15? The answer for me is, I don't know. I can't see that. But if I would reduce this down, let's say I divide them both by 4. Divide by 4 is 5. Divide by 4 is 8. Now I ask myself, how did I get from 5 to 15? That's times 3, so 8 times 3 is 24. And I just solved it, x equals 24. So guys, there's usually 2 ways to solve those. Cross products is one. So like for this one, I might have solved it with cross products and said 32 times 15 divided by 20, because I can't see how I get there. The other way is to simply look. Can I ask myself, how did I get from one fraction to the other? And sometimes that'll be really easy. You won't have to do any reducing. But other times, guys, the way to do it is you have to reduce. So lots of times you'll see they gave you an unreduced fraction. You just reduce it, and then many times, especially at the beginning here, you'll be able to see that and be able to solve the problem. Okay, they gave us one more on the back side. That's example 3. And they gave me x over 1.2 equals 6 over 4. Okay, now guys, here's another example where they brought in decimals to try to make it one step more for you. But what I did is, how did I get from 4 to 12? Well, it's times 3. So I took 6 times 3 and got 18. But I didn't get 4 times 3 is 12. I got 4 times 0.3 is 1.2. So I just know I need to add that decimal point in there. So my answer is 1.8. So I can do the math quickly in my head. I just need to say, hey, don't forget to add your decimal point in there. You could have solved it by 6 times 1.2 divided by 4 would give you the same exact answer, or just look, guys, and then know how to slide your decimals when you're done to get it. But what they're showing you with example 3, guys, is you can get decimal answers. All right, kind of a shorter lesson today. If you want extra credit, what you do is you write down on the top of your quiz for me, up here you write down the 2 words you wrote in your yellow folder, and I'll give you some extra credit. Awesome. Okay, guys, I'll see you for the problems. All right, 6 lesson 39 problems. Here we go with number 1. I'm supposed to look at that beautiful chart. How many pounds did Eduardo's dog gain from the time it was 9 months until it was 10 months? So at 9 months, it looks like it's at about a 64 to me. At 10 months, it looks like it's at about a 78 for me. So, guys, that is guessing at where that dot is between 72 and 80 and between 60 and 68. The 60 to 68 is pretty easy. I kept this one at an even one because they were going by even numbers. Now I just simply subtract. That dog gained 14 pounds in 1 month. My goodness, what are you feeding the thing? Number 6. Diagram the statement and answer questions that follow. 3/7 of the 105 students at high school had fewer than 5 years experience playing the instrument. How many students had fewer than 5? So I have 3/7 of the 105. Divide by my denominator. Goes in there once. Bring down 35, 5. Multiply by my numerator. 15 times 3 is 45. Label 45 students. B says how many had more than that? Now I got to subtract, guys. I had a total of 105. 45 had less, so 60 had more. Don't forget your label with that one as well. Keep practicing those problems. Number 7. What's the area of this figure? Okay, they have it drawn here. I'm going to find in missing numbers, guys, because I glanced at number 8 and said, we have to figure out what the perimeter is anyways, so let's figure out the missing measurements. I notice this horizontal, the whole horizontal is 120. The piece right here is 80. I subtract and I get the other horizontal piece of 40. I have vertical piece 55. I have vertical piece 30. I add them together and I get 85. Okay, now let's figure out the area. How I'm going to do the area is I'm going to go this way. Circle that one. Put an X through it if you need to. You're not using that. So you're not using this vertical height, which means you're using this vertical height. I have 55 times 40. So 5 times 40, add a 0, goes in there 20, carry the 2, goes in there 20 plus 2. So I have 2,200. This one is height of 30 and length of 120. So 3 times 12 is 336. Add 1 0, add 2 zeros. Now I got to take 3,600 plus 2,200. So 36 plus 22 is 58. Add my 2 zeros. Number 7 is 5,800 millimeters squared. That's number 7. Okay, number 8 says find the perimeter. Guys, choice 1 is add them all up. Choice 2 is take the total horizontal, 120, add it to the total vertical, 85. Add those together, gives me 205, and double it because there's a left and a right. Gives me 410 millimeters. Your answer for number 8. Okay. Awesome practice at complex shapes, guys. We'll keep working those things as we move on with these lessons. Number 11. Sharika bought 9.16 gallons of gasoline at a price of 99 9/10 per gallon. Estimate the total cost. Well, I took 9.16 rounded to 9. I took $1.99 rounded to 2. 9 times 2 is 18 bucks. Number 12. Use digits to write 100. 100 and decimal point. 75 thousandths, 75 tenths, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Next one, 175 thousandths. Well, guys, you just learned thousandths is 3 positions, so I have 175 thousandths. That means decimal point and a 0. So this was 12A and 12B. And you also had number 11 on the screen. Cruising on to number 13. Refer to the figure at the right to name an acute angle. So they give us this thing, guys. This is acute. So I'm going to go top, middle, out. So that would be RPS. Angle sign. Name an obtuse angle. That would be coming this way and up. So that would be here, middle, out. So this would be QPR. Angle sign. They said name the straight angle, straight lines. 1, 2, 3. So that would be QPS. Angle sign. Okay? Get familiar at naming angles. Turn the page over. Number 17. I have 21 over 14 equals something over 4. Okay? Guys, I chopped this one by 7. So if I divide by 7, I have 3 over 2. How'd I get from 2 to 4? Times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So my answer is 6. Your other way of solving it is cross multiplication. Because it's the first time with this lesson, I'm just going to show you that. Multiply the numbers that are diagonal from each other. That gives you 84. 84 divided by the number that's left then is divided by 14. It goes in there 6 times. So sometimes it's multiply and divide. It's kind of like canceling, guys. Normally when we do it, we multiply and then divide. This case, I'm dividing first. That's how I got down to here, and then multiplying to get it there. So keep your eyes open for that reducing one. It usually makes the numbers a little bit smaller. Number 19, I'm missing the second in subtraction. Second still subtract. So it's just simply 14 minus 8 is 6. Decimal point straight down, and keep your 0 for looks, 6/10. Number 23, and remember right above 22 and 23 it says estimate each answer to the nearest whole number and then do the actual. So 23, I have 3 minus parentheses 2 minus 0. That's estimated. 2 minus nothing is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, now I got to do the real deal. So I have 2 1/10 minus 6/100. Add a 0 so I can do the math. That becomes a 0, that becomes a 10, that becomes a 4, 0. I had crossed that out, made that a... Hang on, no, I did not cross that out. Did not cross that out. Leave that a 2. I got 2.04, or 2 4/100. Now I'm going to take that, I'm going to subtract 3 from it. 3.15 minus 2.04 in actualness is 1, decimal point straight down. So my estimate was 1. When I stuck in all the real numbers here, I got 1 11/100. Guys, don't forget this step right here. That shows you're reading the book and taking your time to do what they're asking you to do. A lot of us just get to work with the real deal and we don't read directions. 24. I have 4 5/12. And I'm adding to it 6 5/8. 6 5/8. Common denominators would be 24. How'd I get there? I multiplied by 2. 2 times 12 is 24. 5 times 2 is 10. This is times 3. 3 times 4 is 24. 5 times 3 is 15. I add those together, I get 25 24ths. That creates one whole, which I carried back over here, and I have 1 left over. And then I add my whole numbers together and get 11. 11 1/24. Number 26. Make them improper. 8 times 3 plus 1. 24 plus 1 is 25 over 3. The next one, 5 times 1 is 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 over 5. Now I cancel. Divide by 3 is 1. Divide by 3 is 3. Divide by 5 is 1. Divide by 5 is 5. Multiply the tops, 15. 28. Working with triangles from last week. What's the perimeter and what's the area? Okay, so I have my triangle. Perimeter first, guys. That's on the outside. You have 15, 15, and 18. 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 plus 18 is 48. Label would have been millimeters. So that's A. B says, what's the area? I need a dotted line. Remember, area is always multiply, so find the dot. That's 12. You do what is easiest for you. I have 12 times 18 divided by 2. I'm going to divide by 2 first. That's 9. I'm going to take 12 times 9 and get 108 millimeters squared. Triangles get cut in half, guys. And last but not least, number 30. It says use common denominators to arrange these numbers in order from least to greatest. You got it. So I got 2/3, I got 1/2, I got 5/6, and I have 7/12. Well, guys, we're going to 12, so that one doesn't need anything. This one is times 2/2. That gives me 10/12. This is times 6/6. That gives me 6/12. This is times 4/4. That gives me 8/12. Okay, this guy's first, which is here. So 1/2. Next is 7. So then I have 7/12. Then the 8, which is 2/3. And then last, which was the 5/6. So just make sure you go back when you got your answers, guys, and don't write this down because that's not the fractions they gave you. That's what you did so that you could put it in order to do those things. So we compared